Ever wondered what sparked the fiery saga of the Crusades? Let's journey back to medieval Europe, the Middle Ages, a time characterized by the fragmentation of power and the rise of the Church's influence. Europe was a patchwork of competing kingdoms and principalities, each vying for dominance. Amidst this chaos, the Church emerged as a unifying force. It not only provided spiritual guidance but also wielded considerable political power. At the same time, the concept of pilgrimage rose in prominence. Christians from all walks of life were drawn to the Holy Land, a region imbued with profound religious significance. But the Holy Land was under the control of the Islamic Caliphate, creating a simmering tension. This tension, coupled with the Church's quest for unity and the feudal lord's thirst for glory, would soon ignite a series of religious wars known as the Crusades. This complex tapestry of events set the stage for an epic-defining call to arms. A single speech, a call to arms, and the world changed forever. At the heart of this seismic shift was Pope Urban II. His motives? To unite Christian Europe under the banner of the Church and to recapture the Holy Land from Muslim control. The stage for his call to arms was the Council of Clermont in 1095. The Pope's impassioned sermon was a masterstroke of persuasion. He painted a vivid picture of the Holy Land under siege, the sacred soil stained by the presence of non-believers. His words stirred the hearts of those present. Knights, nobles, and commoners alike were moved by his plea for unity and the promise of spiritual rewards. His call resonated across the Christian world, sparking an unprecedented wave of religious fervor. Thousands pledged to take up the cross and march towards Jerusalem, marking the beginning of an era of crusading zeal. With a single sermon, Pope Urban II ignited the flame of the First Crusade. Imagine a tumultuous journey across continents driven by faith, leading to the capture of an ancient city. This is the story of the First Crusade, a pivotal event in world history. In the final years of the 11th century, Pope Urban II issued a call to arms to the European nobility, urging them to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. This marked the beginning of the First Crusade. Thousands of knights, nobles, and commoners alike embarked on a perilous journey, their hearts ablaze with religious fervor and the promise of spiritual redemption. The Crusaders faced numerous trials and tribulations en route to their destination. They endured harsh weather, lack of supplies, and fierce resistance from Seljuk Turks. Yet they pressed on, their determination unwavering. In July of 1099, after a grueling siege, the Crusaders accomplished what seemed impossible. They captured Jerusalem. The capture of Jerusalem marked a turning point in history. The Crusaders didn't stop at merely seizing the city. They established a series of feudal states, known as the Crusader states, across the Middle East. These included the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the County of Tripoli, the Principality of Antioch, and the County of Edessa. These states were unique, as they combined elements of Western European feudalism with the existing cultures and traditions of the Middle East. The Crusaders established castles, fortresses, and developed urban centers, leaving a lasting mark on the region's architecture and infrastructure. However, the Crusader states were not without their challenges. They were often in a state of conflict with their Muslim neighbors, and their existence was largely dependent on the support they received from Europe. The geographical distance and political complexities in Europe made this support unpredictable and often insufficient. Despite these challenges, the Crusader states managed to survive for nearly 2 centuries, serving as a testament to the Crusaders' resilience and tenacity. The First Crusade had succeeded, but this was just the beginning. The call to arms echoed again and again, even reaching the ears of children. After the establishment of the Crusader states, the Second Crusade was sparked by the fall of the County of Edessa in 1144. Led by the kings of France and Germany, it ended in failure and only served to further fuel the religious conflict in the region. The Third Crusade, taking place from 1189 to 1192, was a response to the recapture of Jerusalem by Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria. This crusade saw the likes of Richard the Lionheart, Philip II of France, and Frederick I of the Holy Roman Empire take up the mantle. Despite some successes, they were unable to retake Jerusalem, which remained under Muslim control. The Fourth Crusade, commencing in 1202, took an unexpected turn. Instead of reaching the Holy Land, the Crusaders ended up sacking Constantinople, a Christian city, due to a complex web of political and financial agreements. This event caused an irreparable rift between the Eastern and Western Christian churches. The Fifth Crusade, spanning from 1217 to 1221, focused on Egypt. thought to be the key to controlling Jerusalem. However, despite initial victories, the crusade ultimately ended in a negotiated peace, with Jerusalem remaining under Muslim control. Amidst these subsequent crusades, a unique event transpired in 1212, the Children's Crusade. This was not an official crusade sanctioned by the church, but rather an extraordinary popular movement led by a French shepherd boy named Stephen of Cloyes. He claimed to have been visited by Jesus and was given a letter for the King of France. Thousands of children from France and Germany set off to peacefully convert Muslims in the Holy Land to Christianity. Tragically, most never reached their destination, with many dying along the way or sold into slavery. These crusades left a lasting impact, but none more so than the tragic Children's Crusade. Every era must end, and so too did the era of the Crusades. The decline of the Crusades was not an overnight event, but a gradual process influenced by a multitude of factors. One of the key catalysts was the growing disunity among Christian forces. The failure of the later Crusades to achieve their objectives led to disillusionment and a loss of momentum. The political landscape was also shifting, with the strengthening of the Muslim forces under leaders like Salah ad-Din and Baybars, who successfully recaptured previously lost territories. The diminishing power and influence of the papacy in the 13th century further contributed to the Crusades' decline. Now, let's shift our focus to the military orders, notably the Templars and Hospitallers. These orders played a critical role in the Crusades, providing disciplined, professional armies that were a stark contrast to the often disorganized Crusader forces. The Templars, with their distinctive red crosses on white mantles, and the Hospitallers, identified by their black mantles adorned with a white cross, became iconic symbols of the Crusades. However, their power and influence waned with the decline of the Crusades. The Templars in particular met a tragic end. Accused of heresy and other crimes, many were arrested, tried, and executed in the early 14th century, marking a dark chapter in the history of the Crusades. The sun had set on the Crusades, but their legacy was far from forgotten. The echoes of this tumultuous era continue to resonate, shaping the world in ways we still grapple with today. What is the legacy of the Crusades, and how did they shape our world? The Crusades, these pivotal chapters in our shared history, left an indelible mark on both Europe and the Middle East, influencing cultural, religious, and political landscapes in ways that still reverberate today. In Europe, the Crusades spurred the growth of a money economy, as nobles liquidated their assets to fund their journeys. This shift from a barter to a cash economy laid the groundwork for modern capitalism. It also led to the rise of powerful city-states as trade routes expanded and cities became hubs of economic activity. Moreover, the Crusades fostered a sense of European identity. Despite the disparate kingdoms and territories, the shared purpose of the Crusades united Europeans under the banner of Christianity. This newfound unity, however, also deepened the schism between the Eastern and Western churches, a division that persists to this day. In the Middle East, the Crusades led to centuries of distrust and hostility towards the West. These military campaigns, marked by brutality and religious fervor, left a bitter legacy that continues to influence East-West relations. Culturally, the Crusades facilitated an exchange of ideas, technologies, and goods between East and West. Europe reaped the benefits of this cultural diffusion, with advances in science, medicine, and the arts that ushered in the Renaissance. The echoes of the Crusades still resonate today, shaping our world in myriad ways. How do we view the Crusades today? Through the lens of modern understanding. It's a question that continues to provoke thought and debate. Contemporary interpretations of the Crusades are as varied as they are complex. On one hand, scholars painstakingly dissect historical records, seeking to understand the motivations, actions, and consequences of these religious conflicts. They delve into the socio-political circumstances of the era, the intricate alliances and rivalries, the cultural exchanges and clashes. On the other hand, popular perceptions often simplify and romanticize these events, painting them as grand adventures or dire warnings. The Crusades are seen as a tapestry of heroism and brutality, faith and fanaticism, victory and defeat. They're used as historical analogies, cautionary tales, and even inspirations for works of fiction. Yet, amid this multitude of perspectives, one truth remains undeniable. The Crusades, a saga of faith, power, and ambition, continue to captivate us centuries later.